G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the YouTube channel. How we all doing today? Now I was looking to have a better backdrop for today, but I got called into work last minute due to some scheduling mistakes, so I wasn't supposed to be out this way, but unfortunately I got forced to, so here we is. Now ladies and gentlemen, if you're new around here, g'day, my name's Nathan. I make videos about motorcycles and I upload them to this cheeky little website, alright? So if you like me stuff, leave a comment down below and like, and if you really want to watch more, subscribe. Otherwise, let's get into today's video. Oh, that was a little bit more of a bump than I was expecting. There's also a cop behind me somewhere, so I've got to be extra careful right now. But ladies and gentlemen, today's video, we're talking about how dangerous are motorcycles really, alright? Because a lot of times when you're looking at motorcycles, everyone's talking about, oh, they're dangerous, man, they're dangerous, this has happened, I know something that happened to this person, I know a friend of a friend who had this happen, and I know a friend of a friend who ended up left side, upside down, left ways, and some way, that and the other, you know what I mean? Yes, that was gibberish on purpose. So, look, one thing that I always tell new riders is to sit around watching crash compilations, alright? And the reason I do that is it's a lot easier to start recognizing almost crashes and whatnot when you're doing your own rides if you've been watching other people do it themselves. Because it hurts a lot less when someone else crashes than when you crash yourself, okay? Alright, so I would absolutely recommend this to all new people. And the more and more you do it, the better you get at noticing problems on the road itself, alright? So, when I started riding, I did this for a few months, as I've said many times, and I think I've avoided a lot of crashes and near misses and whatnot because of it. So, motorcycles, in and of themselves, are not that dangerous. I'm sorry to say that. I don't care what people say. They're not dangerous, okay? Motorcycles are fine. It's everything else that's the issue, alright? So, the thing about bikes are their braking distance is not as good as a car's, and there's a reason for that. It's got 2 wheels instead of 4, and it doesn't weigh as much to put the friction down on said rubber. So, in terms of stopping power, they don't stop very well, alright? They definitely got the go to go forward fast, but they can't stop fast. And that, unfortunately, one of the caveats of motorcycles. Now, if you consider that unsafe because of that reason alone, well, maybe motorcycles aren't for you in and of themselves, because bikes are not made to slow down quickly. Now, they stop fast, alright? If you're doing normal stuff, they tend to stop fine. But if you go, the faster and faster you go, the less and less the bikes like to slow down in comparison, okay? But the reason I talked about the crash compilations to begin with is a lot of the times bikes crash, especially in those compilations, and you'll see this the more you watch it, is a lot of the accidents are very avoidable. And it's not because of the cars half the time. And I reckon in those crash compilations, maybe about 70% of the accidents are completely bikers' fault. And I don't say that as the meme of bikers' fault. I mean, literally, a lot of those videos are just bikers going too fast for the situations they're in. They're being stupid. They're riding with ego as opposed to skill. And that's another problem that really gets a lot of bikers as well, because riding with ego does get you, yep, you know what I mean? So that's why I say watch them and recognize, because a lot of the accidents are purely because you're going too fast in the area. Now, this is a 70 kilometer an hour zone, but a lot of those crashes would be having bikers going 90, 100 kilometers an hour. Now, I'm sorry, but I've stopped having sympathy for riders who crash in suburbia because of their stupidity, alright? If you crash purely on accident and you have an accident and you hurt yourself or worse, then I have some sympathy. But when I hear the story of a P-plater or crashed or that crashed because they were going 150, 200 kilometers an hour in the suburbs and they ran a red light and got clipped by a car, ended up under a truck, where, alright, I don't have any sympathy for you, and I'm sorry to say that, but it's one of those old-fashioned sayings that you play stupid games and you win stupid prizes, okay? And it's true. I'm sorry, you're going to ride like a dipshit, you're going to end up, getting spanked occasionally. It doesn't take away from the fact that it's tragic, alright? Don't think I'm saying I think they deserve it. No, they don't deserve to have the accidents, alright? That's not how I feel about it at all. They still shouldn't have them happening, but I just don't have any sympathy for them anymore. And look, that goes both ways. If I crash because I'm doing something stupid in the suburbs, I fully expect everyone who watches me to clown me in the comments, because unfortunately this goes both ways. That camera's flashing a few times, but there's no one running reds. Must be doing test shots. Oh, lime green Supra, once again, a car I don't care about, but for the channel, if anyone wants to see it, look at that thing over there. Don't think too highly of those cars. I don't know why. I've never been a Supra guy. I'm a muscle car guy at heart. So that's my thoughts about the matter, alright? Now, if you go out of your way to crash into the, out of your way to crash, if you go out of your way to ride in the middle of nowhere and you have an accident, I'm a little bit more sympathetic to your cause, because at least you tried to get away from things, okay? Whereas you're doing stupid stuff around places like where I am now, or in the city, God forbid. Speeding around the city is definitely not smart. Well, unfortunately, what do you think's going to happen, man? It's a shit spot to be speeding in to begin with, so you really should have used your old noggin there. Now, as a whole, the biker statistics for injuries are much worse, because look, despite the bike itself not being inherently more dangerous, everything else is. Now, when you have an accident on a motorcycle, there is no big metal cage and airbags to protect you. You are just flying through the air. This is not good, you know, that kind of meme. And it's true, when you hit something at speed, you tend to fly off the bike. And the best thing in a crash is definitely to fall off the motorcycle, because the last thing you want is the bike to land on you or slam into you after you slide down the road, which I assure you is a recipe for a bad time. So we don't have the protection. That's why becoming popular are the airbag vests lately, which are a pretty cool invention. You have a little magnet or clamp that goes on your bars, and you fall off the bike, it pops a little CO2 canister, and bam, you've got protection, all right? Which I think is actually a fantastic addition to the motorcycle world. We've needed some extra protection. Seatbelts on motorcycles is a terrible decision. If you ever have a bike with it, you should chop it off immediately, because that thing will lead to more accidents. Because imagine this, you crash at like 200 kilometers an hour, the bike goes up in the air, and then you're attached to it so you don't go anywhere, and then the bike comes back down and lands on you, and bam, you've broken your back or you're worse. All right, sound fun? Now you understand the problem about it. So, to the meat and potatoes of the video, what makes a motorcycle dangerous is everything you see in front of me. It's all the bikes and cars and pedestrians and cyclists are on the road with you, all right? Typically, it's the cars, because unfortunately, there's a little phenomenon with humans called inattentive blindness, which is the effect of when you are looking at something, but you don't register it because you're not looking for it, all right? So a lot of cars are not looking for bikes, they're looking for cars. So they might look straight at you and still not see you, because the brain isn't functioning at the moment, all right? Now, unfortunately, as stupid as it is, it's the reality of motorcycles. So just because someone looks at you doesn't always mean that they've seen you. So that's one thing you need to be aware of. So they might nod at you. Try and get some visual confirmation that they've seen you, as opposed to just looking at you, because I've had that many people look at you and then pull out in front of you. Which is why we like our loud pipes, all right? Loud pipes save lives, etc. But half the time the exhaust is getting thrown behind you, so the car in front of you doesn't hear it anyway. But when you're lane filtering, it definitely makes a difference, all right? But man, sitting in blind spots, turning like in the middle lanes and whatnot, it's all these locations you can put yourself in that you have to do anyway, just the nature of riding. But you can sort of try and get yourself in a position where you're not as obviously in them, okay? So when I'm riding in the inner lane and there's one of those turning U-turn lanes or something, I try my best to sort of come to lane position 1, which in Australia is the leftmost point of the lane, okay? The last thing you want to do is make yourself as hard to see as possible. So I try and make myself as visible as I possibly can, which is, they're not going to fit through there comfortably. I can't be bothered really finessing it. So you really don't want to have to force yourself into a oh shit situation because you weren't thinking, and now you've all of a sudden the car's turned out in front of you and you're starfished in the air flying to Mark Jesus into a tree. Alright, so bikes can be dangerous if you're not smart about how you ride them, okay? Think about that for a second. Cars can be dangerous if you drive them like an absolute moron. Bikes can be more dangerous if you ride them like an absolute moron, because when you hit thing in car, you have cushion. When you hit thing on bike, it just go ow. And for the men who are thinking about that squiddy lifestyle, just remember, if you're riding sports bikes or cruiser bikes and that, the first thing that happens when you have a big crash is your nuts go straight into the petrol tank. And I can assure you, after seeing it, I've had a mate whose nuts dented the petrol tank and he wasn't hooning. So just think about that next time you want to ride a little bit, you know, sporadically in the suburbs. Do you want your nuts to go so hard into a piece of metal that they end up denting the damn thing? If you want children, I wouldn't recommend it. It's not the best day to have, that's for sure. So yes, remember, bikes are only as dangerous typically as the person riding them makes them out to be. Yes, they could be a little bit more problematic, but the more you ride, the more you recognize danger, and the more videos you watch about them, the more you start to notice them anyway. So really pay attention to your surroundings. Practice your quick stops, your slow stops. Practice knowing when to head check and whatnot, because sometimes your head checks can actually mean you stop paying attention. In that few seconds you look away, you might end up rear-ending a car, because the last thing you're doing is, well, you're not paying attention to what's in front of you, and then the car might slam the brakes on, and bad day. So make sure you practice your riding. It fundamentally makes the best difference. Do your research, watch your videos, and now analyze the crashes. That will make one of the biggest differences for you, because the last thing you want to do is find out firsthand how to avoid a crash, as opposed to, this looks a little unsafe, maybe I should slow down and avoid what's coming, you know? Let's get some petrol. Damn, she was thirsty today. That was nice and cheap. That tells you what, boys and girls, motorbikes are not scary. Sometimes it's just everyone else who's scary, and that's what makes it, that's why it wasn't so expensive, what makes it fun. Keeps you alive. Woo! Ah, I love doing that out of there. But yeah, dude, like I was saying, most of the dangers from riding don't come typically from the opposition and the cars around you. Yes, of course they do, but a lot of the danger comes from how you ride and how you're reading the road. Because guess what? When you're speeding everywhere, danger comes much faster towards you than if you're just following the law. So if you're going to speed, I always say go to a track or go out in the middle of nowhere, okay? Speeding around these kind of places typically ends in disaster. That was a nice Indian, I think. Ooh, I think. I could be wrong. I didn't really get a good look at it. Dude, so ladies and gents, when you're riding, do take it, you know, easy. Slow down. Don't be afraid to roll off your throttle during intersections and whatnot, because always assume that the car can't see you. That's why, like I said, here, see how the blue car's here? I've always moved to the lane position over here, so. And then I like to even give it the old wobble. So when you do this, you're more visible to cars, because human eyes, they like to see, you know, motion, like a T-Rex, they say in Jurassic Park. Give it a little wobble and it makes you just that much more visible, which in turn is safer for you, because the last thing you want to have to do is be like, almost get hit and, oh my god, I didn't see you. And how many times have you heard that one before? I don't think I can make it through. It's too narrow here. I was going to try and sneak my way through to the little turning lane there, but that's okay. Ooh, a Tesla on an ad? Whoever you are and whatever you drive, mate, why would anyone choose to drive a Tesla? Ugh, electric vehicle. But ladies and gents, like I was saying, that's basically it. Ride safe and danger tends to go away in the most part, you know, for the most part. Not entirely, but much better than the alternative. So ladies and gents, that's all I have time for. I hope you enjoyed the video today. Leave a like, comment down below, and comment your own thoughts on the matter, and I will get back to you whenever I see it. Otherwise, take it easy, keep it cheesy, and as always, peace, bye!